Hello students, welcome back to my channel Learn with Priya. So today we are going to learn class 9 English literature chapter number 1, that is the fun they had. So this story is all about the future generation. So let's get started. Okay. So the fun they had, and this was written by Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov is a great writer and you must literally learn about him. He's a very great writer and this may come in your exam in one word answer who is the writer of The Fun They Had. Please remember the writer is Isaac Asimov. So in this chapter we can see the schools of future, moving e-text, learning through computers, virtual classroom and robotic teacher. The story takes us to the world of future where computers will play a major role in the field of education. Books in schools, as we know now, will perhaps not exist. So remember, today we are learning through our notebooks and textbooks, but this story is where they do not know what notebook is. So let's say that this might be in the 21st century. Let's say 21st century, 2557 maybe. This story took place in 2157. Okay? The story opens with Margie writing her diary about an old book that Tommy had found. Margie was reminded of her grandfather, who had once talked about his grandfather, who went to an actual school where the students were taught by human teachers. Tommy was 13 years old and Margie was 11. They found many strange things in the book. One of the strangest things was that after reading the book became useless. The text written on it did not change the way it happened on their computer screen. Okay. So what does this tell? That Margie is writing a store like a diary, a daily diary that she does. So the story opens with Margie writing in her diary about an old book that Tommy had found in his attic. Attic पता है ना attic जानते हो? You know what attic is? Attic is the upper surface of the room of the house. That means a kind of storeroom. So after seeing the book, Margie got reminded of her grandfather. What did her grandfather say? Her grandfather told her that her grandfather's grandfather used to go to a school where actual human beings used to teach there. Okay, Tommy was a 13 years old boy. Tommy was a 13 years old boy and Margie is a 11 years old girl. So they were both neighbors. Okay, so these Margie and Tommy were actually, they don't know what book is. They only know about these e-books and computer screens. But once they got the action real book in their hands, they were confused. They don't know what to do because the pages were not going, not flipping automatically like they used to do in the computer. So they used to turn them, they used to flip them. That was quite weird. However, Margie and Tommy lived in future world in the year 2157 where education was completely computerized. They did not go to schools. Instead, they had a special study room. They had a special study room where a computer taught them. The computer teacher was programmed and adjusted according to the needs of each child. Programmed and adjusted. So, about what year is the story about? About the 21st century, 21,057. So, where Tommy and Margie are two kids, and in 2157, the education was completely computerized. Like in COVID, how we have faced it, in the same way, they are having they are not having COVID, but the technology was improved. The technology is improved. That's why they are able to learn from computer, and computer is only teaching them. Okay, they did not go to schools. When the education is computerized, then why do they have to go to school? Instead, they had a special study room where a computer taught them. Instead, they had a special study room in their house. In their own house they had a special study room where they used to go and study there, where the computer is set up, everything is set up, and when they enter the computer starts teaching them, and there will be break and everything, homework is given by the computer, and the notes, everything is given by the computer, they have to study. Even the computer takes tests. Computer teacher was programmed and adjusted according to the needs of each child. For example, if the child is 10 years old, the computer is programmed according to 10 years. That means it gives everything, like it teaches everything that a 10-year-old should know. The pages of the book they found were yellow and crinkly. Maggie and Tommy found it funny to read the words that did not move like they moved on the screen. When they turned back to the page before, it still had the same words on it. Margie hated school. She was having problems with learning geography from her mechanical teacher. It was black, large, and ugly with a big screen on which all lessons were shown and questions were asked, all in a special room in her own house. It could also calculate the marks in no time. Margie hated the slot where she had to insert her homework or test papers. Once the geography sector of her mechanical teacher was graded too quick so that her marks got worse and worse. The country inspector rebuilt it in 1 hour. So what did they found? That the book they had found was yellow and crinkly. Yellow and crinkly. That means what can we say that yellow and crinkly means it's quite old. In movies, we used to see our treasure hunt wala movies and all. We find books, very old books, through which they find their lead. Margie and Tommy found it funny to read the words that did not move like they used to move on screen. Screen on the screen. What happens on the screen? We have to move. The words actually move on the screen, right? We scroll it, but they found it funny to read that where words do not move, and when they turn the page back the words are still there, so that made them funny. Margie hated school. Why did Margie hated school? Because the teacher is boring. Okay, she was having problems with learning geography from a mechanical teacher. She was having problems from learning geography from her teacher, robotic teacher. How does that robotic teacher look? It is a black, large, and ugly with a big screen on which all lessons were shown and questions were also asked. In a special room in her own house, that is the study room. It could also calculate marks in no time. Within few seconds only, it calculates all the marks. Of course, it will because it is robotic, it is computerized. Margie hated the slot where she had to insert her homeworks or test papers. Margie was given a slot where she was supposed to insert her homework and test papers. Okay? And she hated that. Once the geography sector of her mechanical teacher was graded too quick, that her marks got worse and worse. The geography sector, matlab mechanical teacher, in a mechanical teacher, different sectors are there, according to which the subjects were explained. For example, the mechanical teacher that teaches Margie is teaching geography, math, science, English to Margie, and the geography sector. All the sectors are fine except the geography sector. It was computerized quite quick, and that's why Margie's grade got worse and worse because she was not able to catch up with the syllabus that was going on. Both Tommy and Margie wondered at the book found. Margie also wondered how much fun it would be studying in a school, studying in a fun way with other children, and that too from a human teacher who gave them homework and asked questions. They had a special building where the children went to study and they learned the same thing if they were the same age. What they wondered, what Margie and Tommy wondered at the book found, how much fun they had. In this century we cry to go to school, but in future they want to go to school because they don't do not want to get computerized totally. They want to create an environment between human beings. They want to become aware of everything, right? So the Margie also wondered that how much fun they had in the school, meeting friends, everything is better, right? Instead of staying at home, even during COVID, many students are not happy of being locked in the house, right? Studying in a fun way with other children, and that too from a human teacher. They're learning from a computerized teacher who does not have any emotions. But human teacher, sometimes our teacher cracks jokes, right? Sometimes punishes our enemy in class, right? Sometimes punishes our friend, right? Okay. So even our human teacher does not ask questions all the time. Maybe sometimes, but not all the time. Sometimes she leaves us if we do not know the answer. But that is not the same with computerized teacher. What does that do? It follows the rules and regulations correctly. And they also had in this century, they were talking about the 20th century, where they had a special building, that is the school, where children went to study and they learned the same thing if they were the same age. Message. The author's message is one warning of against the dangers of computerized homeschooling, which will deprive children of benefits of the personal interactions between students and teachers, which help them develop social skills. What is the author's message? It is one of the warning. He is warning that if a child is totally computerized, okay, if a child is totally computerized or homeschooled, then how will we interact with people? Then he will become an introvert totally. Okay, he will not have any friends, right? He cannot cope with the surroundings. He cannot cope with the society if he stays homeschooled all the time. Okay, that is why schools are built. That is why schools are opened to create an environment between the students. So he doesn't want someone to be homeschooled. That becomes dangerous. It will deprive children of the benefits of personal interaction between students and teachers, which help them develop social skills. Okay. Okay, so this chapter is completed till here, and I hope you all have learned something new in this video. So do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. If you're new, please do subscribe the channel. Thank you so much for watching till end. Let me know in the comments what subject you want to make me a video on next.